The Last Man Who Heard the Aliens. In 1977, humanity may have received its first message from another civilization, and almost nobody remembers it happened. There were no UFOs, no invasion, no dramatic Hollywood moment, just a signal. On August 15, 1977, a giant radio telescope in Ohio called Big Ear was scanning the sky like it always did, listening to deep space for unusual radio transmissions. For years, it heard nothing except silence. Then, for exactly 72 seconds, something appeared. A signal at 1,420 megahertz. The exact frequency scientists believed intelligent alien civilizations would most likely use to communicate. Hydrogen is the most common element in the universe, and this frequency was considered the universal meeting point for any advanced species trying to contact others. What made the signal terrifying wasn't just the frequency, it was how precise it was, focused, narrow, artificial looking. Unlike natural cosmic noise, this signal behaved almost exactly how scientists predicted an extraterrestrial transmission would behave. When the telescope printed the data, one section stood out from everything else. 6EQUJ, 6 strange characters. To normal people, meaningless. To astronomers, shocking. A volunteer astronomer named Jerry Ehman was reviewing the printouts days later when he noticed it. After years of staring at boring data, he suddenly found something he couldn't explain. He circled the signal in red pen and wrote one word beside it. Wow. That paper still exists today. The signal became known forever as the WOW signal. And Jerry Ehman became the only person to ever physically hold the original discovery in his hands. Scientists immediately tried to explain it. Could it have been a satellite? No. Military transmission? No. Known astronomical object? No. Over the next decades, telescopes around the world pointed back toward the exact same region of space, trying to hear the signal again. Nothing. The signal never returned. And that's where this story becomes unsettling, because there are only two real possibilities. The first is comforting. It was some strange natural phenomenon humanity simply doesn't understand yet. But the second possibility is harder to live with. What if it actually was a transmission? What if somewhere, 120 light years away, another civilization sent a signal into the darkness of space, and Earth only heard it once before losing it forever? Jerry Ehman spent the rest of his life being asked the same question. Was it aliens? For decades, he stayed careful and scientific. He always said the same thing. We don't know. But near the end of his life, his answers started changing slightly. He admitted something important. No natural explanation had ever fully explained every characteristic of the signal. Its frequency was too specific. Its strength was unusual. Its behavior matched almost perfectly with what a distant intelligent transmission should look like. And still, nobody could prove anything. In one interview, Jerry was asked whether it bothered him that he would probably die without learning what caused the WOW signal. He said no. He said uncertainty is what makes science meaningful. Then, in 2024, Jerry Ehman died at 83 years old. The last living human directly connected to the most famous unexplained signal in history died without ever discovering what he found. Most people didn't even notice. But the story gets worse because the telescope itself is gone too. The Big Ear radio telescope, the machine that detected the signal, was demolished in the 1990s after the land was sold to developers. Today, where humanity may have first heard another civilization, there's a golf course. People casually drive golf carts across the exact place where scientists once listened to the universe. Only a small plaque remains. That's it. One signal, one telescope, one man. Gone. And maybe that's what makes this story unforgettable. Not aliens, but how easily humanity lets important things disappear. The machine is gone, the witnesses are gone, the moment is gone. All that remains is a faded piece of paper with 6 characters circled in red ink. 6 EQUJ5. Maybe it was nothing. Or maybe, for 72 seconds in 1977, humanity heard another intelligence speaking across space and failed to understand it before everything connected to that moment slowly vanished forever. This is the last time. After Jerry Ammon died, something strange started happening online. Not officially, not in scientific journals, on old forums, Reddit threads, archived astronomy websites. People began revisiting the wow signal again. Because over time, the story started feeling less like a scientific anomaly and more like a warning. Think about it. Out of all the billions of radio signals moving through the universe every second, humanity detected exactly one that looked almost intentionally designed. One. And the response to that discovery wasn't urgency. It was silence. Funding disappeared, researchers retired, the telescope was destroyed. It was almost as if humanity collectively decided not to look too closely. Even stranger, newer telescopes with far more advanced technology still haven't found anything remotely identical to the wow signal, not even close, which creates a terrifying possibility scientists rarely talk about publicly. What if the reason we never heard it again is because it was never meant to repeat? Imagine an alien civilization so far away that their message traveled 120 years through empty space before reaching Earth. A civilization that may not even exist anymore. By the time their signal reached us in 1977, whoever sent it could already be extinct. Their planet could be dead. Their cities gone. Their species erased from existence. And yet one final trace of them kept traveling through the universe at the speed of light, until it collided with a giant metal telescope in Ohio for 72 seconds, then silence forever. That possibility changes the meaning of the story completely, because maybe the wow signal wasn't humanity's first contact. Maybe it was evidence that civilizations disappeared long before anyone notices they existed. And if that's true, what does that say about us? Humanity has only been using radio technology for around 100 years. Already we're moving away from powerful analog broadcasts into quieter digital systems. Some scientists believe Earth is actually becoming harder to detect from space every decade, which means one day our own signals could vanish too. No more loud radio leakage into the cosmos. No more evidence we were here. Just silence. Maybe somewhere in the universe, another civilization is listening right now, the same way Big Ear once listened to the stars. Maybe they're wading through decades of static, hoping for proof they aren't alone. And maybe one day, one brief signal from Earth reaches them. A fragment of a song, a military transmission, a YouTube live stream, a human voice, then nothing ever again. To them, humanity would become a mystery too, a civilization that spoke once and disappeared. That's what makes the wow signal so haunting, not because it proves aliens exist, but because it reminds us how temporary everything is. Entire species disappear, languages disappear, Civilizations disappear. Even evidence disappears. The telescope is gone. The scientists are gone. And eventually, even the memory of this story may disappear too. All except 6 characters written on fading paper. 6 EQUJ5A message no one understands. From a sender we may never identify, heard once by a man who spent the rest of his life wondering if, for 72 seconds, humanity stopped being alone.